I think it's started.
It's working.
Great. So I'm also going to share my screen. So I have some apps open here for share the whole screen. Yes, now it's working. Okay, and I have two web navigators opened. One is an administrator, let's say, in the organization, in your organization, and another one is just a professional that should be the usual, let's say, profile to be used in the platform. And I will try to explain the differences. I have also here with me the tutorial, so we can check some things. This is the last version, if I am not wrong. For the moment, it's in English, although the images, I think that the pictures are available in Italian. I think that most of the platform is already in Italian. Maybe we can find some specific levels that maybe we have missed, but it should be working in Italian. And after some tests from your side, we will prepare a whole version in Italian of the tutorial for you to offer it to all the people involved, and to also to use it as a base of new versions of the tutorial, maybe specific versions for families, users, and whatever we will have to prepare. But as long as we have all the platform ready and this tutorial in Italian, that would be easier. So I also have here a tablet, and in this tablet, I'm gonna be having two profiles. Let's say that I'm using it now like a mobile phone, but it's also having the app for the elderly people, for the families at home. So I'm gonna be changing from one to the other. The tablet is in Italian, so I hope most of the messages to appear also in Italian. And the idea today is to have a quick tour through the functionalities of the platform, more or less. After all our conversations and after the training session, we have created an organization with some functionalities that we are going to be showing you. So the idea today is to have a quick tour, and with the video and the tutorial, you can be, let's say, ready to start doing tests and involving not only yourselves, but the first users, just to check if more or less what we have prepared is ready for the use that you want for the use cases that you want to implement in the platform. For sure, there are still some small issues to be solved. It's true that we are also in August, so it's not all the team is now working, but let's say that during these days, Maria and myself will be available. So any questions, of course, we will be ready to assist you. And if you have any question at any moment, please let us know, and I can try to answer it during the session. Okay, you can see it by screen well.
Yes.
Everything working.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I mentioned in the tutorial, we have created some some users for you. It's true that for the moment we have created them as administrators, but maybe then you decide that you want to create new ones, or that maybe some of them shouldn't be administrators but professionals. And which is the difference? In this screen, I am an administrator right now. So as an administrator, I can see here all the elderly people that are connected. Why? When I enter using this link, when I enter the website and I use my credentials, just my email and password, then I am entering this screen. It's some kind of dashboard to know which are the people in my organization, in this case, the elderly people, and I can configure the different, especially the different professionals and caregivers that are going to be involved in the project. So I can even create and I can even access other options that maybe you are not going to be using because maybe you don't have clients yourselves. This is, for example, a company. Let's imagine a home care or a company that is working for two for municipalities, and they create those municipalities as let's say entities here. It's not necessary to use this. The same for the centers. These centers means that maybe you are working in Treviso, maybe you are working in Milano, maybe you are working in Torino, and you decide to create three different centers. So all the professionals, all the elderly people should would be assigned to different centers. So you can have the whole view of all the organizations, all the centers, but of course, each professional in each center would be only accessing that information. So they couldn't see what happens in other centers. We assume that in your case, it's only one center. So we only have created one. And another thing you can do here is creating professionals. What is a professional? We assume that the professional is the person in the organization that is gonna be managing the information and being in contact with the families, the caregivers, checking the information they are creating and everything. So it could be, for example, one psychologist that is analyzing how the people are playing, or it could be one doctor if we would be doing telemedicine control that is analyzing how the health is going. The regular users, the normal users in your organization would be professionals. So you could create some here, your professionals. And when creating a professional, you're going to be including in which center is working. This global means that is working for all the centers. As you are only be using one center, you just need to create the name of the person, the email, and that's enough. Okay. And when you create a professional, you also need to say which are the elderly users that this professional is gonna be managing. So I don't know if your case, if all the professionals are gonna be able to see the information and to interact with all the elderly people. If that's the case, you need to assign manually each patient or each elderly people to each professional. So if we go to professionals here, this is my test, let's say, user that I have created for you also to check how it works, and that appears in the tutorial. This is my professional. So here I could assign all the professionals one by one, all the patients, sorry, to this professional. So when this professional enters the platform, it's gonna have in the list all the patients. If we don't want all the patients to be accessed by or connected or managed by all the professionals, we should select which are the patients that each professional is going to be managing. Because if not, if we don't assign here the patients for each professional, they won't appear when they enter. So here I am a professional, and I am this professional that has rights to access information from this patient and from this one, but not from persona test. So as this professional, when I enter the platform, I only see these patients, person one, my test, Provaniaki, but I don't see a test. I don't see this persona test because it's not assigned to me, okay? So this is something that you need to decide. And if you think, you say, okay, all our our professionals are going to be connecting and managing all the elderly users, it's okay, you can do it. Okay, but you need to do it manually. This is something that the administrators do. The administrators, of course, also create other administrators. So for the moment, we have created uses for you all, but maybe after an internal discussion about your structure, you decide that some of them are going to be professionals, not administrators. Because in fact, some functionalities are not available for administrators. They don't access the cognitive stimulation platform. They cannot call the
Iñaki,
tablets.
sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
That an administrator could be also a professional. I mean, the same person could be both.
They should have different
users, no? We have to create different
same time.
Sorry, it was blocked.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you couldn't use the same user
Okay.
to be the two profiles at the same time. So if
Okay.
you want to do it, I don't know, maybe one thing you can do, and it's something that we use a lot, maybe you can see it here. You can use, especially if you are using Gmail or emails based on Gmail. What you can do is using this, let's say, particle in the email. So I am using, this is my email is this one, is just, is ibartolomeideable.net. But I use this particle to say that here I am the administrator, and I use the same email for the professional, but changing this. Okay, so with this plus, and let's say and adding anything else, in the end is your own. It is the same email. For example, in Gmail, you are going to be receiving everything in the same mailbox, but you are acting in a different way in the platform. So I'm using just one mailbox, but with this different plus whatever in the email address, I can become different profiles, because you cannot use the same email to enter in the platform as an administrator or as a professional, because it's just one email, one profile.
Clear. Thank you.
Okay, but it's something that we can maybe help you when you have really clear who are going to be the people that are going to be administrators and which ones are going to be professionals. Okay.
Yes, we should talk with ARCO, with all the ARCO group, in order to understand if the professional would also want to be also administrator, or there are different persons. So yes, it's something that we should discuss with them. Thank you.
Administrators usually just only, let's say, work in the beginning for creating the infrastructure, because, for example, the patients, it's something that also professionals can do. Okay. So for creating elderly people, let's say, in the platform, you don't need to be administrator. Professionals can do it too. So maybe it's more related to creating the structure of the company.
Okay.
In the beginning. And another thing you can do is creating caregivers. Caregivers is a special role because we can have relatives, we can have or contacts, it's how they are called in the platform, contacts. You can have professionals we've discussed before, and you can have caregivers. Caregivers are special because they can do more things from the mobile app than relatives. It's maybe a caregiver that is a formal caregiver. For example, in home care agencies, they are people from the organization that are going to the different houses. That's one role. And another role could be a caregiver that is living with elderly people, that is responsible for the care of that elderly people, and don't use the platform only for social activities, but also for introducing information for answering some questions that are sent to the caregiver and not to the patient. So it's a special role that is using a mobile app, but with more options than a contact or relative. So here you should also create, if in your case there are going to be caregivers working in the platform, you should again create them here and assign them to the patient. Maybe in your case, you're going to be having some caregivers only in each case connected to one elderly people, but as they could be caregivers caring for more than one people, especially if they were formal caregivers, you have the possibility of connecting them not only with one patient, but with more. But it depends on you in this case, how you're going to be working. It's not mandatory to have caregivers using an app, but if it's something that you're going to have and maybe it's interesting for you in some cases, they could be created. And in this case, they are gonna use an app in the mobile phone, not accessing by a web. So it's something also it's supposed to discuss internally if these caregivers are gonna exist or not. That's why we talk about caregivers in the tutorial, and it's the same app for caregivers or contacts relatives, but the relatives contacts, they have less options, just the social part, just video calls, photos, videos, just sharing information with the tablet or receiving video calls. They don't interact in other parts of the platform, like accessing results from cognitive stimulation or answering questions or other things that we will see later. So now I am a professional. I have entered the platform and I have here users assigned to me. For an elderly person to use the tablet, I must create that patient here. I must create a new person. Okay. And for creating a new person, I need to include some basic, let's say, information. Okay. The most important is the name or the identification. Maybe we don't want to use real names. In some cases, the organizations use an ID, but it's up to you. Some basic data about the date of birth. This is interesting if you are using the health monitoring, but if not, you can avoid the height of the person on even which is more or less how much they walk, the Alcata, if they are using the smart bands to check how much they walk a day to calculate the distance. But in your case, you could avoid this. You could avoid the rest. They are not mandatory. And you can include some observations. And you can include the photo if it's easier for you later to identify them by the photo, but it's not mandatory. Once you create this person, it's going to be appearing here. And when it exists, it's a time for you to, let's say, start working with the interventions and everything you want to do with this person. So this is the one I'm using for the moment. So you enter here and you have here access to the configuration of everything that is going to be appearing in the tablet. Okay, this is the profile, the same data that we have created when we started, and we can access here to more information. We can enter here more information if we think it's interesting for the managers to know, in each case, more information about the person, about the family, and even if it's necessary and is useful for you, you can include here a lot of information about the persona, how it is, how that person is, the interests, hobbies, allergies, care plans, the information about the doctor. Is just basic information to have here available for you. Okay. in many, many, many different aspects, even about religion, if it's necessary or interesting. This is something to be kept here to know better the end users. But it's just information. And from here, you can also access and assign one by one the professionals that are going to be in contact with this patient and the caregivers that are being created by the administrators that are going to be connected to this elderly person. So you can do it as administrator from the menu here of configurazione and all these menus. But if you're a professional, you can do also here from these menus, professional and caregiver. Bear in mind that if you lose in some case, you can always go to the inicio, and then you have here the list of the people that are assigned to you as a professional. And some of them are going to be in red because they have created alerts. So until you manage those alerts, this person is going to be in red, and the ones with these alerts are going to be the first ones in the dashboard. And you can look for people or even information here in the alerts as using this box. This is for quick filtering all the information. Okay, so when I put here, for example, any word, as long as any record is has that label in the name or in other in some alerts, is going to be filtered. And when I delete it, I have all the people in the tablet in the dashboard, and I can manage the alerts. I can manage them from here, or I can see all the alerts together here one by one. So no matter in which part I am, I can go to this alert, and this is an alert that is telling me that the tablet has not been connected to the internet for a long time. So I can say if it's okay, I can ignore it, or I can solve it. I can change the state of the alert. Let's say that we are going to be ignoring it, and I'm going to be saying that I was just testing. Okay, and all the alerts are solved. So now I have no alerts. All the people are without alerts. Okay, and I have here also information about, in some cases, for example, I have a message pending to be read that is being sent from the tablet, for example. So it's something that I can see directly here, but if I go to the detail again, it's gonna be here. So again, to the menu of one person, this person, as long as it exists and as it appears in the tutorial, when I download the app and run it for the first time, it's going to be asking for my credentials as professional. So I'm going to be using the same credentials I've used as a professional to enter in the website for entering in the app. And when I enter, I'm going to be having a list of the this is the part I'm mentioning. I'm going to be having the list of patients that I can manage to assign the tablet to that person. So when I do it once, it's going to be done forever. So if I assign this tablet, in this case, to this person, next time the person enters the app, it's going to be herself in this case. Okay, so they don't need to log in as let's say families or elderly patients. And what our clients usually do is that they prepare the tablets in the organization and they assign the tablets to the people, and when they bring the tablet at home and they enter the tablet, they turn it on, it's already available as their tablet. They don't need to log in. Okay. So as long as it's created in the platform, we can assign the tablet to that person in the app for elderly people. And these are the options that are available, okay? They have information about the weather in their city. It's connecting to the city in which they live. It's detecting which is the city, and this is the example. For example, the weather forecast here in Bilbao for the next days. And they're going to be having also here the calendar with the reminders for today, for all the week, or for all the whole month. So we don't have anything for today, but as long as we create reminders of tasks for them, they're going to be available here. For the moment, we don't have almost information in this user. And of course, they already have available the possibility of calling. But they cannot call the call center. This is something that we decided after the demos and the tutorials. So they can call the caregivers or their relatives that are available and connected to them. These are some examples that I already linked to that user. So that's why it appears here that they should call some of them. And something that we can do as professionals is calling them anytime. So we can call these people just starting here. We're going to have problems because my micro and video are already assigned to Google Meet. But here we open a window in which they can call, okay, directly to the tablet. Just pressing this button. As long as the tablet is working and as long as we have everything ready. In this case, I cannot call because of that. And everything that happens here is has an impact in the tablet. And of course, for this moment, they also can start using the cognitive stimulation platform. So if I access here as a professional to the cognitive stimulation, I can see information about all the people in the center. So again, here, this is the person I am using, and I can see if there's been a change in the cognitive level, if someone didn't connect it for 15 days to play, if this is something that we can see here, if who has been playing recently, and who has been reporting a low emotional status, or who told us that it was difficult to play the cognitive stimulation games. This is something that is available directly present in this menu. We enter this part, and of course, we can go to the details. So as they start playing, they will start having information. We haven't played yet, so there's no information at all. But as long as they complete the first sessions, we will start having this data here. And we can check which is the information they have here, but we don't need to configure anything because they are already configured to play in Italian, and we have decided that the platform at home is going to be used in the autonomous mode. So it means that when they connect for the first time, they're going to have a questionnaire, and with that questionnaire, we're going to be assigning which is the cultural level and which is the initial cognitive status because of the test that they are running for the first time. And after that, they're going to have a complete module to be playing in Italian, and which sessions that more or less are going to be lasting about 50 minutes. And it's up to us to create reminders for them to say that they should play, for example, twice or 3 times a week. So we don't need to do anything else, okay? We will talk about the group sessions later, but in the cognitive part, for each person in the tablet, it's not necessary to do anything else. And we can add relatives or other contacts here. By default, we can see here that we have created a professional. This is ourselves. So let's say it's a part of the network related to the patient. We have one caregiver. We have created that role for this patient, and we have added it here. So when we add caregivers and professionals, they are automatically part of the list of the people connected here, but we can also add relatives. And how do we add relatives? We include here the name and surname just for identification, and we include an email. This email, they're going to be receiving an invitation that is also appears here in the tutorial. I think this is in here. And now the image, because there's an image of the invitation. Here it is. Yes. When we have a contact, as I mentioned, the relatives receive an email with an invitation to be a part of the network of this person. And they just need to accept all the terms and conditions. And after that, they can download the app and use the credentials that appear in the email to enter. So they will be connected to the tablet using the app. Okay. So this is something that we can do. And for relatives, it's going to be only for social purposes. But as long as they appear, as they connect and they have their app running in the smartphone, the elderly people could call them. So they would appear here and they could press here and they could, this way, call them and start a video call directly. And if we are able to enter here, for example, the picture of that person, it's going to be appearing here. So apart from the name, they could see the face of that person. So it's easier for the elderly people to start a video call just pressing the picture. It's something that they also can do by the smartphone app, of course. The smartphone app is here. This is the version for the caregiver, so it has more options. By they could configure it and they could include different information here about the message, the language, and whatever. This way, they can connect to the tablet from here, so they can start the video call also here from the mobile phone to the tablet. Okay, this is the way to call that person, and they call this part is going to be available for the relatives, so they are able to upload pictures in the tablet. They could share also videos. We will make some examples later. They will be able to upload MP3s with them, music, and even links from the internet. It's something that the relatives could do using the mobile app. And it's something that all the professionals here and all the caregivers and everyone in the network of these elderly people could check. So if we create albums, it's something that we all will be able to see here, just to check what we all are sharing with the elderly people. There's a special part for this social, let's say, multimedia contents, that is the global resources. So we can upload here videos, for example, that we are going to be using with all the people in the organization. Okay. So we can use directly the organization, and let's say that we are going to use rehabilitation videos. This is something that I'm creating now from scratch. And let's say that we are using YouTube videos. We can use YouTube videos, or we can create directly upload archives. Okay. So we're going to be able to just 1 second. I have here. That's it. I have some videos here. So let's imagine that I have here one video for rehabilitation, okay? And I can share it, I can use it with all my elderly people. This way, we can do this without going one by one uploading the video, because we can do here, we can see here the album we have created, and it's created for everyone, or we could create a new album that is, I don't know, persona, for example, for this person. And I can do this just for this person. So we have here another, that is this one. So I am creating albums for this person, and I can do it only for this person. This is only, or I can create from here photos, photo albums, music albums, videos, and documents to be shared with this person from the for all of them.
So this means that only this person could see this material.
That's it. If we have this album, which is personal, the rest, we couldn't even share it with other ones. So if I go to another user here, this is another one, and I go to videos, only the general ones are going to be appearing here. But the personal, I should upload again manually for this end user.
Okay.
So this is a way of sharing easily general contents with all our users if we are going to be using common resources for some interventions. Okay, so I'm going back to this one. And when we start doing this, the tablet is synchronizing from time to time. So it's not really direct. Of course, the video call is going to be direct, but other things only happen from time to time, just to not to be connecting all the time. So if we start uploading it after a few minutes, it's being fast in this case, we have the albums, and we can have albums with more than one video. So these are the videos that we have shared. This is the first one, and it's just played as any other video. Okay, so this is an example of rehabilitation that I've been using here, but you can share any video. And this is the personal I created. Well, okay, it's also for rehabilitation, but I included it in another folder. Okay, but not only, let's say, videos for interventions could be created here. We could be sharing also information from, I don't know, granddaughters, grandsons, and whatever. We can do it from here, but we can also do it from the mobile phone being a relative. So it's something that we could do anytime. Okay. And we can do the same with music, in this case with MP3s, and we can do the same with documents. We can share documents with them, and we can also create a news for them.
Iñaki, could I ask you something? Maybe you already said, but I don't have understood if these contents, professional can put these contents in the kwido platform, or also caregiver can put something inside?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. Yes. If I am a caregiver, I am going to be swapping to the other app here. Okay. Let's imagine this is the caregiver with the mobile phone. This person can do the same. Okay.
Okay. Like an email. Okay. You can.
Yes, and they can create albums, and they can upload videos. This is a tablet that is empty, but we could do it. And the same with the relatives. This social part, this, let's say, 4 options are going to be available also for relatives. So if they have
Thank you.
pictures of family, we could see them. They're going to be available. They could upload it. Okay, so this is about the social part. We also have links. So these links, let's say if we can add any link about yourself, for example, let's try it. Most of them work, but in some cases there are let's say, I don't know if you have any website. Let's try with this one. What you can do is creating, we have called it news. Let's say it's Arco. Example. There are three the status, because maybe you are just creating news, but you don't want it to be published in the tablet yet, but we are going to put it. Okay. We can decide here if it's going to be appearing in all the tablets of the organization or just in this one. Again, the same, let's say, idea. And if it's going to be shared in an accessible way. So when sharing it in an accessible way, it means that we are using a viewer that is creating, let's say, a version of the piece of news that is available to be checked in to be viewed in the tablet. Some of them, in this case, for example, it's not working in your case. Let's use, for example, a newspaper or something like that. This one we mentioned before. And we're going to be changing the configuration. This is, I don't know, news. Yes, so this is the piece of news in original, okay, with all the banners and everything, and we create an accessible version. So it's available in the tablet to be read by these elderly people. We can see that here we have now one piece of news that is available, or not visible for everyone, just for this user, but we could also open it for all of them. And if we go here to the attività, we can go to the notizie, and it will appear. And it will appear in these accessible viewers. So it's a way to share news with them without opening a web navigator with all the banners, with all the cookies, or with all those things. In some cases, they are not visible, but you can check it in the website first. And when it works, it's something that they could read here. And they could, or even in this case, for reading, they have the possibility of changing the size of the letters. Okay, so this is something that could be also used, and that could be also informed by the caregivers using the app. Okay, they could be sharing these links with them. So this is something that is also available here in Activita. And another part that is both social, but also used for reaching the professionals or the caregivers or all the people involved, is the possibility of sending messages. So we can share a message. We can send this message here. We can share to different roles, so we could use it also even for exchanging messages among the professionals, or with the caregivers, or with the elderly people themselves. But we can choose it. So yes, in this case, we're going to be sending a message to the tablet and to the caregiver And an example of the message, we can even upload the PDFs or pictures or whatever, and we send it to all the people involved. So it means that they're gonna be having the possibility of reading it in the tablet, and the caregivers are gonna be having also the opportunity of checking the message. So if I am a caregiver, I have a new message here. This option is gonna be removed. So this is gonna be the one messages. I have one unread, and I can access here. And this is not read for the moment. So I can enter. This is the example. I can answer, and I can say here that is the answer on the caregiver. I can even create new messages here and send it to the professionals, maybe with pictures of the elderly people or the activities we've done outdoors, whatever, and I can share it with the professional. So we can create a thread here in which many different stakeholders can be, let's say, a part of it. And as long as we have a new message and we change the view, it's going to be appearing here. We already have the answer from the caregiver, and we see all the thread here. And it also happens with the app of the elderly people. We have here the alert, a new message, and if we go to activity, we go to messages, we have here one unread, and we can see here the whole thread, and we can even answer. So it's something that in some cases we have found that many people, they prefer to send messages instead of having video calls. Okay, especially with the professionals, not with the relatives. It happens. So bear it in mind that we have some examples here in Echetic, for example. We have seen that most of them prefer sending messages instead of having video calls. I don't know if it has to do with the privacy, or maybe that the video calls, of course, are instant and you need to be ready to answer or whatever, but they prefer in some cases sending messages. All the social part, let's say more or less, could be also done by relatives in the mobile phone, but they're going to have less options than the caregivers. So all this part about photos, music, videos, etc. And we can create reminders. This is interesting for trying to create a, let's say, a care plan or interventions that those people are going to be doing at home. So for example, we could just create, I don't know, I'm just going to be creating it right now. We could say, okay, we want this person to play cognitive simulation games. Okay, and we could say we want them to play them every 3 days, and we wanted to play just by this time, for example, and during, I don't know, a whole year. That's for having everything. We could even ask them with the question if they have played or not, and if they answer no, we're going to be receiving an alert. But it's not necessary, because we can track what they do in the tablet. We will show later. So maybe you don't need to have that to go that far. And we can decide if this event is going to be creating an alert in the tablet. Maybe you don't want to have the tablet ringing every day with all the alerts, but maybe in some cases it's something important that you want an alert to be raised in the tablet. So you can decide it here. You have different options to create these reminders, and some reminders can be just a message. So for example, you could just say this, or you can, let's say, create alerts related to other parts of the platform. Okay, let's say that in this case we create one for just playing cognitive stimulation games, and they're gonna be having this reminder every 3 days. And let's think that you want them to do an exercise with a video, for example. So what you can do is, for example, tomorrow we want them to play video, or let's say do exercises. And you want them during, I don't know, 1 week to do these exercises every morning between 10 and 11. You don't want to raise alerts because you don't want to disturb them a lot, but you want them to repeat every 24 hours. And what you want to do is to open after the reminder a specific content that is available for the tablet. So this is something that you can do here. Okay. So you can create the reminder linked to the video of rehabilitation, for example, this album that we have assigned to this person. So you can start creating these reminders here. I think that maybe I haven't done it well. Yes, here every 24 hours. Yes, I think that now is okay. That's it. So you will have these reminders, and you can see this calendar available here. This calendar is also accessible for the caregiver. So if I have here the mobile app with me, I have here what that person needs to do with the tablet. And if I am assisting that person, I know that then do exercises, tomorrow do exercises, in 3 days playing cognitive stimulation games, whatever. So I have these reminders here, and I can even check here again the same, but here I can even create new reminders too. So I can do it here, okay, being a caregiver. And of course, in the tablet, when these reminders have, let's say, alerts, we have decided that they should create alerts, they're going to be ringing. Okay, it's going to be a big sound with the message here. And if they need, for example, to do a video after the alert, they will have access to the video. If not, they can go here, and it's just saying them that they should be playing cognitive stimulation games. If I go to the weekly, they have here do exercises, and as it's linked to the video, this reminder from the calendar or from the alert, if it exists, is bringing me directly to the video itself. So I can do everything that the calendar says, just checking the calendar every day. But of course, the videos are going to be available here. I can do this anytime. I can go here and start the rehabilitation album videos by myself or with the help of my assistant or whatever. So it's something that I can do manually, but the calendar is a good way to create, let's say, an intervention with some specific milestones that we want to emphasize for each user. So this is important, this part for the calendar. Okay, this menu for health, this is not used in your case for health parameters, but what we offer you is that you could here create questions, okay, just to check how the people are going. So for example, we could do how do you feel today? Okay, this could, or better, do you feel well? This could be a question that we could ask the elderly people, and if they answer no, they don't feel well, we could create an alert. So I create this question, and this question is going to be available in the tablet. And we could even do another thing, that is, I'm going to be asking this every day. So maybe in the morning, we could call it morning question. During 1 month, this is just an example, and maybe, I don't know, in the afternoon, not to interfere with the rest, between 6 and 6:30. I'm gonna be asking this every 24 hours, and it's gonna be having an alert because it's important for us, and we're gonna be asking a specific question, which is, do you feel well? And we can create an alert if that question is not answered in 8 hours. This is the number of hours in which it's going to be raising an alert. So as long as we have this ready, this question is going to be appearing in the tablet. And this reminder is going to be, let's say, launched at that specific time. So this question is also is available here. So when I go to health, I have the cognitive stimulation platform, and I have the questions. For the moment, it's not synchronized, but it will be in a few minutes. And the same with the reminders. Let's say that when it's ready, the reminder is going to be appearing here. Okay. Here it's available, it's been synchronized, and this is the question. Do you feel well? Yes or no? And if I say no, I will receive an alert as a professional. So this is something that for well-being you could use for the elderly people, but also for the caregivers, because you can create questions for the caregivers that you don't want the elderly patients, let's say, to know. So I have already here, and the answer is red, is no. I have an alert. So if I go to the dashboard now, I see that I have one message pending to be read, the one for the caregiver, and I have one alert. So now I could manage it and saying that I will ignore it because it was just 13. But I could go to that person and create questions for the caregivers. So these questions for the caregivers will only appear in the mobile app. So let's call it question for caregiver. And the question could be, is the patient okay today, for example? Only for the caregiver, only the no will create an alert. So this question won't appear in the tablet. It will appear in the mobile app. So if I am a caregiver that I am living with this person, I could go to the health section, and this is the question to the patient. I can see it, but I have one question that is only for me. And I could say, yes, the patient, it's okay, yes or no. It's just yes in this case, everything is perfect. If not, again, we would receive an alert. And I can use these questions for measuring some intervention or for checking how they are. Only for caregivers and patients. So this is another part that we could use in the platform. And some other parts that we could use that could raise alerts. Of course, if the answer is not, they say the question is not answered in 8 hours as we ask it, we would also receive alerts that no one answered that question. Okay, if that's something that is interesting for us, we will receive alerts for that. Another part that we can do is checking the tablet. So the tablet, this is part is interesting. We can see which is the last time that the tablet, the app has been synchronizing with the system. This is important to know if they are using the tablet, which was the last time they used the tablet. Even if they are moving, we can check when where the person is. Using the GPS, we connect and we know where the person is. This is my house. So hello, hello, in Bilbao. And we check other parameters. We know how how is the battery the last time that it's synchronized. So maybe if the tablet is not connected and here it appears just 1%, it's easy for us to know that they ran out of battery and they have not charged it again. If we are downloading videos because we are creating videos for the people, we also can check the size of the tablet. If we are using too much, it's not the case. And we also receive information about the connectivity. And this is important because sometimes we may see that they are not connecting, they are not sending too much information. We could know which is the type of connection they have. In this case, I am using Wi-Fi, so this is the Wi-Fi I have. This is the speed I have, so we can check if we have a good, let's say, connection or not. I am not really close to the router, so the connectivity could be better. And this is the speed. And if I am using a tablet with a 4G connection, for example, using a SIM card, I could see here the same as a Wi-Fi. So if the signal I have is good enough or not. In this case, it's 0 because I am just using Wi-Fi and I have no SIM card in my tablet. But if we are using SIM cards, that I suppose that it would be your situation, it's interesting to know if they have good connection at home. And this is you can see here that more or less every 5 minutes, the tablet connects with the internet. So more or less, we update that information. This is interesting for the support when the system is running. And you also have here interesting alerts. Maybe the most interesting one is that is sending you an alert if the tablet is not connecting, for example, in 24 hours. Maybe it makes more sense. So if the tablet is not connecting in 2 days, you will receive an alert. And you will say, okay, why that person is not connecting? It's a problem with the tablet, it's whatever. You can even increase this frequency to say that it should connect at least once in I don't know, in 5 days, for example. This is interesting that you configure this as you wish to have this under control. Okay, and you can also check how they are using the tablet. So maybe you are offering interventions to be done at home. They are saying, yes, I'm using the tablet. I'm calling my relatives. I'm doing my exercises. Yes, it's okay what they tell, but you can check if it's real here. So we can do all they do here the last month. So I can see that, yes, we have answered a question, they are accessing a video, they are doing cognitive stimulation if they do, they are accessing photos, whatever they are doing, you can see it here. So it's interesting for you to check it here if they are using the tablet as they say they are using it. And the last part could be the cognitive stimulation. So the cognitive stimulation, the usual way of using it is that the first time they connect, I'm changing here to the app of elderly people, here again. So I'm going to be controlling it manually. So when I go to health section, maybe I receive an alert or not to use it. I start the app, so the cognitive stimulation is connected. So this is the first time I am playing. So I have some questions here. Okay, I don't understand it really well in Italian, so I'm gonna be answering anything. But this is the first questionnaire that is checking more or less which is the situation of the person. Okay, I'm gonna be saying the same to all the questions. You have problems remembering names. I don't remember this one well. You forget names of relatives. You don't remember what you have read, or yes. I don't understand this. Sorry. Blah, 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 blah. This questionnaire is only done once. Okay. So yes, which is your cultural level, let's say. So okay. And when we finish, we are ready to start playing. So this questionnaire is only for the first time. And now I can play. And when I play, this is always the first, let's say, screen, and then we start playing. Okay. So in this case, you can see that more or less the sessions are gonna have 13, 14, 15 activities. So, okay, I should, this is for calculation. So in this case, it's dragging and dropping. So, okay, if you try to do something that is wrong, you cannot. Okay, okay, and when you do everything okay, you go to the next play. We are including new activities, okay? So we are preparing more activities in Italian. You have some now, but you're going to be having more during the next weeks. We are preparing them for you. And the difficulty of the activities, the time you have for remembering, like in this game and whatever, is related to your cognitive level. I don't, to be honest, I haven't checked which the number was. So we are gonna be completing one session with different types of games, okay? And if I have any question, there's here I can press this to for the tablet to tell me what appears. Okay, this is an example, and okay. We also have here the possibility of pressing the question to check how I should play this game. For each type of game, I have an explanation. So in this case, which is the next number? This,
I think Estefania has a question.
okay. Yes, please. Because I cannot see the.
No problem. Sorry to interrupt you. But Adele did some exercise, so she tried to test before going to holiday. I didn't, but I have a remark because she noticed that in the exercise that required the vision of a video, for example, the video remains blank. So she couldn't see the images. So this is something that maybe it's important to know for you.
We will check it. We will check it because sometimes, depending also on the internet connection, the videos are not fully loaded, or maybe in some cases you need to press in the player for it to start. Let's see if it appears here, but we will check it. Of course, any issue you can find, if you can tell us, and if you can make a screenshot, that's great for us to assist you, because in some cases maybe in the preparation of the games. Yes, maybe we'll have.
And another question is if the user exits, for example, the ongoing cognitive stimulation section without finishing it, when he or she enters the next time, will she start a new one or start from the one that she left off?
Okay, we can do it now. We have not finished the session, but I can go to exit. Okay, so I have a question about the missionary status we mentioned before. After playing, how are you? Okay, and how do you think you have played? The self-assessment, it's okay. I'm back. So the next time I go to the cognitive stimulation platform, this is the normal screen, and I am going to the same point in which I left it. So
Okay.
it's not necessary for me to complete the session. I can finish it every time. It's true that we invite, let's say, to do a session this size, and then when we finish, we say, okay, you have finished. But even after that, they can continue playing. But so it's not mandatory to finish the session, and it's not mandatory to leave the session after, let's say, completing one.
Perfect.
We will finish this one. This one is related with praxis, I think. So which is the image that is there? Another one is the combination. So let's see this one. Another one for a combination. Here, even numbers. So let's check them all. And if I press one that is incorrect, I have that completed. Yes, another. Yes, more or less, I should put these ones in the same places. Okay. Yes, this is about, it's more about reasoning. So, which is the lightest object, and try to go, let's say, sorry, that's it. And the lighthouse, the last one, which is the heaviest one. Okay, the same here again. Perfect. And we are close to the end. So one image that is not repeated. I'm not sure. Yes, I got it. And again, this is a final at the end of the session. Now I'm Felice. Now I'm saying that it's been difficult. And it's saying that it's okay. It's okay for me. That's my results. And I go out. But of course, I can press Memento again and start a new session. So it's not, let's say, a problem for the platform. You can do it whenever you want. Okay. So as long as we start, I need to complete some sessions. Now I have played, so I start having here a result. Okay. So I start having here information, and I can go to the cognitive stimulation platform to see it in detail. Okay. So I can go to this one, that is the one I'm playing, and when I start playing, all the emotional status, how I am, these are the different values and the different mental capacities that I've been working for the moment. As long as I keep on working more mental capacities will be trained, and I will start having the traits, not only these single points in the very beginning. Because in the end, I have just completed one complete session. I done it in 2 steps, but I've just completed one session for the moment. And this cognitive stimulation, I can see here the detail. I have here the screenshot, and it's also available for the caregivers. So the caregivers can also access this information directly here. I have the same information here. And more or less, I think that more or less everything has been covered. Another point is that for the caregivers, we can, let's say, tell things that are happening like in a history. So it's something that we can include here, categorize in different levels. So it's something from these categories or incidents. I can use this one, for example, and I can say, okay, the person yesterday. This is something I am just making up. And no injuries fell down in the bathroom. In the shower. I don't know. I can change it. So this is something that we could use to have some kind of history of remarkable events related to this person that are happening. So I can do it as a caregiver, but I also can do it as the professional. So here I have this incident, but I can create new ones, and it's something that we could use between all the professionals and with the caregivers to track these important events or incidents that happen with this person. Okay, so we can have this history, let's say, something we could use instead of sending just messages or trying to write it down in another part. We can do it directly here. And I think I haven't forgotten anything. All that is explained is here. Yes, I am checking just, I have forgotten two things. Yes. Group sessions. Okay. Group sessions, we can create group sessions here. These are the group sessions in which we can create new ones. And I think that they are available also here, sorry, but with this in Italian, I don't find some of the options. Yes, I can create group sessions from here. So I don't have any group session here. And what is a group session? A group session is a video call with many people involved. Okay, so I can create a group session for right now, for example, for my group, my center. It's the only one, and I can add different people. This is myself as a professional. Let's say that it's especially designed for adding different elderly people at the same time for a video call and having group sessions in video call. This is for people at home, not for playing all together cognitive stimulation. That's another part. So if we create this session, okay, it's something that I can go here and I haven't created it. Yes, it's available here. Yes, it's been created. It's being synchronized with the rest of the tablets. And as long as I am close to the time of the session, now I have here even the access to the session. Okay, so if we go here, we can start, let's say, the session. It's again here myself, but it's not been working well because I am using my micro and everything. But I am here, and in the tablet, if I go to the elderly person, yes, this is, sorry for the connection, but it's my remote control. I don't have a good Wi-Fi in this part. It's gonna be appearing in the calendar. So for today we have a session. So I have here that video call, and as I am in the time of the video call, I can also enter here. So it's something that all of us can do. Yes, I'm not gonna start. I'm gonna stop it because the system is gonna be a bit crazy. Yes, but what I can do in a video call is that I can even share my screen. So imagine that I have 5 people. I can see that those 5 people here in the tablet, they can see them also each other, and I can share my screen. So I can start video calls with them. I can show them videos. I can show them documents, whatever. And this way, we can have a complete group session. It's something that is available, and it's this option. Okay. And of course, in the reminders of all the people involved, they're gonna be having this reminder about multi-conferencia. Okay. So I can see also in the calendar. And another part is the cognitive stimulation, let's say, in groups. So what happens, how we can do that? Because of course, the people at home, they're going to be having the tablet. They're going to be having just the cognitive stimulation platform integrated in kwido. So here in health, they're going to be having the access to the cognitive stimulation as we have seen before. But what we can do, this is a proposal for you for those group sessions in which the people are together, is that we have created another center for you in the cognitive stimulation platform. So I am here in the cognitive stimulation platform, and if I go to my data as professional, you can see that I am in two different centers. One is Grupo Arco, that is the usual one with the people that are using the tablet at home, and another one is Group Arco Sessions. So it means that I can change my center here to Group Arco Sessions, and here all these users that we have seen before have disappeared. I don't have any user because I should create here a session, or sorry, use the users that are going to be playing. No matter they are the same people, but I need to create new users here because the behavior of the platform is going to be. So let's say that this session, this is session user 1, and they won't exist in kwido. Let's say they won't appear here. They will just appear in kwido Mementia for this center because it's a complete different center. So this person, I don't know, this is the date of birth. This person is going to be playing in Italian. This is important. And I create it. So when I create it, this person is going to be playing. And when a person is going to be playing in the same session, if I create some, they're going to be having and they're going to be presented the same activities in the same order. This is important. So what is also important is that this person has, in this case, a username and a password. And the way they're going to be using the platform in this case is different. They're going to be having another app, which is for playing directly. Okay. I've entered the users and the password of other users I usually am using. And this way they can play in a different way here. So it's not mixing the cognitive stimulation they are doing at home. This is something that they can do in the same tablet or maybe in other tablets you have in the center, prepared just for them. So while they are playing, the people in the same table with, for example, 5 tablets, they're going to be having the same activities in the same order. So you can play with them, let's say, in a group, and this information is not going to be, let's say, affecting the normal cognitive stimulation that they are doing at home. This is just happening in this virtual center that we have called, let's say, sessions. But if you go to Group Arco, again, you will have access to the users that exist in kwido, that they are the tablets at home. So the results here are interesting, are the ones they are really playing. The other ones will be the results of the people, let's say, in the group session. So they are not so reliable because the time, for example, is used in the algorithm for analyzing the cognitive, let's say, level. And of course, if they need to wait for other users to finish, maybe the results are not going to be this scientific, let's say. But you will be able to use them. And it's also available in the tutorial that is here, the group session. Yes, here it is. More or less the explanation I've done is also available here. So these are tailored sessions. And as I mentioned before, you need to change the active center of your profile as professional. And I think that were the only two things that I was missing in the explanation. Remember that this tab for Mementia, you don't need to have it active. It's always available here. So this is the main, let's say, window you should use, which is the kwido one. And I don't know if you have any questions.
No, for now, I don't have any questions. Now I understood well this part because it's something that we asked specific for Gruppo Arco. So
Yeah.
thank you. And I think that we should test the platform, also the Arco group. So in the next weeks, because you know they are most of the group is on holiday, but yes, the next week will be for testing, and maybe at the end of August we will have some updates. I mean, I don't think that there will be something to change, but yes, if I know that you told us that if it could be possible to do some minor changes, but
Yeah.
yes, we will come to you with feedback.
Yes.
As I told you, Adele is trying to test it. I will do the next week before going on holiday, and also Arco Group. Then I know that Adele has a meeting at the end of August with Arco Group, so maybe this will be also the case to have some reports and then go on. So yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording. Okay, if you agree. So okay. Yes, so I will share it with you later.
Thank you.
For sure, I have even checked some labels that still appear in Spanish or English, so we will try to change them. Just some small, a few ones, but we still need to change them. And of course, if during the test you have any issue, please let us know. We are testing and we are changing the bugs, let's say, or issues that we are finding. The app for the smartphones, remember, for relatives, it's also available in iOS. So in this case, if they have an iPhone, they could also install the kwido for caregivers, and they could act as a relative using an iPhone. It's not available for iPads in the case of elderly people, but it's because, you know, iPads are much too expensive, and these projects are better in Android. We have not received any requirement of running it in iOS, but for the mobile app, yes, it's available for iPhones.
Okay. Yes, please, Iñaki, if you, sorry, Silvia, just one quick notice. If you can send this recording to all the Arco group, so the usual group email, thank you.
Yes, we will try to put it available for you. And even we are creating also a document that is a way of implementing all the system in the hardware, how to deal with the hardware, with the connections. It's related to our experience in other projects, as we are not, in this case, responsible for that part, but we want to offer it to you because the support and having all the hardware and connections under control is crucial for the success of a project like this. So we will share with you our experience to check if we can do it more or less the same. And it's true that the number of end users is not really big in this case. If I don't remember, I think it's about 25 people each group. Yeah. So it's not too high. But even in that case, we need the system to be stable, and it's most of the cases is also related to the tablets, how they use it, and the connections are good. You can assist them quickly if they have a problem using even software like we have seen in the demo, remote control. So it's easy to check if everything was running okay or not. And it happens, and Maria already knows it, that some people even don't use the system as they should. We are now, for example, in one project investigating that the people have just removed the SIM card and they are using it for another thing. So it happens. In some cases, it's good to be ready for it. Okay, so we will share also that document with you when it's ready, and maybe we can use September, the end of August and September for the test, for preparing all the service. So in October we can be really in production with the families.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.